Hi, it's Dawn with numerologist.com. Have you ever heard the saying, when one door closes, another opens? Well, I found that to be true with one condition. You must actually allow the first door to close, turn away, and be open to allowing a new door to open. And this can be a real challenge. There are times in our lives, everybody goes through this, where a big change has to happen. Maybe it's a goodbye to someone that we thought would be in our lives forever. Maybe it's a move. Maybe it's a change in career or jobs. It can be all kinds of things. Maybe it's just a chapter in your life. But what happens is that when we cling on to what was, hoping to keep it the same, we start to suffer. You see this a lot when two people who came together in love and joy and maybe share their whole lives together, but have changed so drastically and moved apart so much that they actually are now harming themselves and each other by staying in relationship. And yet stay they do, and causing pain for both parties. So what I want to talk with you about today is this idea of saying goodbye and closures. And just a heads up, this video is a kind of a quick intro for next week's podcast. Because in next week's podcast, I'm going to be diving deeply into this concept of closure and closing rituals with very hands-on tools to help you deal with closures of all kinds, whether that's something as simple as closing a chapter in your life that you're ready to move on from, to very painful partings or having to say goodbye to someone before you're ready to. But in today's video, I simply want to ask you some questions and offer you an invitation to contemplate these things and really bring up some of these questions for yourself so that you can make the most of next week's podcast. So here are my questions for you. I'm actually going to read them from my list here, so I'm sure that I get them right for you. So excuse me while I click to a different page. So the first question is, are there people in my life I just don't relate with anymore, but I'm not ready to say goodbye to them yet? Question number 2, does there seem to be a chapter in my life that needs to close so that I can move on to something else? Question 3, am I feeling stagnant in my current job? Is expansion and growth and maybe a little risk necessary for me to gain energy again? And finally, question 4, is there someone or some place that I've had to say goodbye to before I was ready to, that I still don't feel complete with that closure? So ask yourself these questions, allow them to sort of bubble and come to the surface to see what comes up for you, because then if there's stuff there for you, either happening for you right now in your life or in the past, next week's podcast is really going to help you, because you will get some ways to begin to process closure and saying goodbye that helps you maintain and take care of yourself in a holistic fashion, because we all have to say goodbye at times in our lives, and sometimes that's painful. Even when it's not painful, sometimes it's just, it's kind of uncomfortable. So go ahead and be with these questions and tune in next week. And just quickly, you probably know that if you don't already, the motivation, the reason this is coming up and why I'm making this theme happen is because I'll be making my transition back to the United States here shortly. And as much as I love it here and as much as I love it home, there's a kind of door closure thing that needs to happen. So as I prepared my own inner self and my own ceremonies for that closure, that goodbye, I thought, well, why don't I share these with all of you? Because I know if I'm going through this in an easy way, I'm sure some of you out there are going through it in all different ways. So I hope this is helpful for you. Do write me and let me know if you have questions. If things are coming up for you, you can leave a message in the little message thing below there. You can write me, or you can write me if you want to send me something privately. Write me at editor@numerologist.com. And stay tuned for next week's podcast because I'm going to be giving you some really good stuff. And until then, from myself and the entire team, I wish you a beautiful week. Mwah.